Rat facts. The Archer. In 1943, the UK found itself in a difficult situation, where they had a lot of 17-pounder AT guns that couldn't move around, obsolete tanks that were still being made for some reason, and an ocean full of angry U-boats, making it hard to get the M10 tank destroyers from the US. So they had the idea to get creative and make one of the strangest tanks of World War II. Attempts to add larger cannons to existing tanks led to some different vehicles being made, like the 3-inch gun carrier, the Sherman Firefly, and the Mark 8 Challenger. However, the strangest tank by far would be the Archer, as it took a Valentine chassis and put a gigantic 17-pounder on it that hardly fit. The Valentine chassis was chosen for two reasons. One being there were very few chassis that could fit this giant gun, and two, as mentioned earlier, they were obsolete but still being made for whatever reason. The gun was mounted backwards to the chassis, the idea being that you could use the 17-pounder, and then when someone tried to stop you, the driver could take off the brake and start driving in the opposite direction. And also because the Archer was very slow in reverse, so this was the only option for a fast getaway. The vehicle had such little room, the commander would often stand outside the tank to command it so the crew would have plenty of room to use the 17-pounder. But it wasn't all bad. The Archer was reported as having very good cross-country capabilities, and it was very good at climbing steep slopes, however it would struggle to drive on normal roads. The Royal Artillery Corps really liked the tank for its ability to provide very powerful firepower while being able to make a quick escape, and they would use the Archer very effectively in both Northwest Europe and Italy. However, when the Armored Corps took over the tanks, they were very unhappy with its non-traditional setup, and it makes sense because they were tasked with very different missions than the Royal Artillery, thus making the Archer a poorer fit. Once the war was over, the British did not see a need for the Archer, and in 1950 they would give 200 of them to the Egyptian army. And it's with Egypt that the Archer would see its last combat in the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Overall, I'd say the Archer proves that sometimes it's not about taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but taking no steps forward and all steps back.